Hey honeys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I am going to be talking to you guys all about pageants and pageantry, and in specific, how I believe that pageants have changed my life. I feel like pageants can kind of sometimes get a bad rep inherently, and so I'm here just to kind of share my experience and my love of pageantry with you all, and just to kind of tell you how I feel like it's always had a positive impact on my life. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So as I mentioned, in this video, I'm just going to be going over pageantry and how I believe that it has positively impacted my life, and just share some of my experiences with you and why I love pageantry so much. So when I was 3 years old, I began competing in pageants where I actually had to speak on stage and talk to judges and kind of hold my own. I did do a few pageants that my parents put me in when I was less than a year old, but when I fully began competing, it was when I was just about 3 years old. So I began competing with a system local to me. Someone reached out and said that I should start competing with them, and I did my first ever competition. I don't fully remember that because of course I was only 3, so I only remember the stories that other people have told me throughout the years of my first ever competition. But from what I've heard, I know that I was an extremely shy little girl on stage. I did not want to talk to anyone. I did not want to look or smile at anyone. I was very shy, and it just seemed like pageants maybe weren't cut out for me. So I had to go on stage at this pageant system, and I had to do an introduction on stage. So it was required for all of the girls to say an introduction on stage, and it was also a requirement for someone to escort the young lady out on stage during this process. So you had an escort bring you out on stage, you did a little evening gown walk in your dress, and then you would go up, take the microphone, say your introduction, and then you would leave the stage. So my escort was my dad, and I went on stage, I was doing my walk, I walked up to go get the microphone to say my introduction, and I was so nervous and so shy that I just turned around to my dad and started calling him forward to come be up there with me because I was too nervous to say the introduction by myself. And like I said, he was on stage with me, but when it was time for me to do my walk and introduction and all of that, you know, he kind of stayed a little bit further back because the moment was about me at that point, and you know, the same for all of the other young ladies that were on stage. But I kept calling him up to come to the forward front of the stage with me just because I didn't want to be up there by myself. I was scared and just so incredibly shy. And so I ended up just handing the microphone back, and my dad and I walked off the stage. So that was how my first pageant experience went, where I had to actually do something on my own. And of course, my parents could have just called it quits right then and there and said that pageants just weren't meant for me, and that was it. Wash our hands of that and move on to something else. So I was very lucky that my parents did put me in a lot of activities growing up. I did a ton of things: swimming, acting, basketball, volleyball. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I was very fortunate that my parents did continue to put me in things just so I could kind of find what I really did love to do. And even though I didn't have the best experience at my first pageant, to me, I still thought it was so much fun. So when the next year rolled around, my parents tried again, and although I didn't call my dad forward to the front of the stage, I was still extremely shy and nervous throughout the whole weekend. I never really made eye contact with the judges the way we were supposed to do. I never really talked to people or introduced myself in the proper ways. And of course, I was still a baby at that point. I mean, I was 3 and 4 years old, but I was still just not getting it. And there was so many girls that were that same age that just had that sparkle, that just had that shine and shimmer about them, that when they were on stage, they just lit up the entire ballroom, honestly. And so it's not that I was just too young to understand, because there were some girls that were the same age as me that just got it like that, and I just wasn't getting it. But my parents still saw something in me that, 1, proved potential that I could get better, and 2, that just showed them that I was genuinely enjoying myself, even though I wasn't good at it. And I use air quotes around the word good because truly, I don't think that having the best scores or walking away with a title every time is what proves that you are good at something. Because as I mentioned, the point of this video is to show how pageants have positively impacted my life. And even though those first few times I competed, I may have come dead last for all I know, I was still building so many life skills along the way that I probably wasn't even aware of at that time, and that my parents probably weren't even aware of at that time. So year after year, they continued to put me in. And like I said, it's not like they were forcing me to continue to compete. There was something that they saw in me that they knew I was still having fun, even though I wasn't walking away with a title, even though I wasn't even walking away in the top 5 or top 15, I was still having fun and I still wanted to continue to go back. So I continued to go and continued to compete. And as I was getting a little bit older, I was breaking out of my shell a little bit more as the years went on, and I started to get better at the competition aspect of things. I started to be a lot more outgoing. I started to be a lot more talkative on stage and in the interviews with the judges, and I started to really kind of come into my own. So when I was 9 years old, I was still competing with the same system year after year. Like I said, we continued to go back, and that year something clicked. That year, I walked onto stage and I owned it. And I ended up walking away that year with first runner-up to the state title, which was just such a big accomplishment for me because every single year prior to that, I had never even made a top semifinalist. So walking away with first runner-up that year was just a magical moment. And that year I do absolutely remember. I will never forget that year because the excitement that flooded through me when I heard my name called, first, of course, as a top 15 semifinalist, but then as first runner-up to the Miss New Jersey title. I couldn't believe my ears, truly. And as a 9-year-old, I was just so excited. And by that age and that point in my life, I was starting to understand how this pageant system was transforming me into a more outgoing and more confident child at that point, but I could see how it was carrying through with me year after year, and I realized that this system was going to be a big part of my life for as long as it was able to be. So now fast forward to where we are today. I am 23 years old now, and I am still competing with the same system. I have continued to compete throughout other systems throughout the years and everything, and I do still continue to come back to this system because it's truly the one that I owe everything to because of how much I feel that it has transformed me. And the system that I'm speaking about is the Miss American Co-Ed pageant, for anyone who was wondering. And I am competing this year. I am currently the Miss Northeast Co-Ed, and I will be competing in nationals this October for the National Miss American Co-Ed title. It is my absolute dream title, and I'm going to be going there and giving it my all to walk away with that title this year. I am so determined and so excited to get to go and compete again for this dream title of mine. But it's really not even about the specific system. Like I said, for me, I keep referencing this because this is the system that I truly did grow up with. But pageantry as a whole has continued to allow me to feel confident in myself. It has truly continued to allow me to grow and keep transforming into a more confident and outspoken young woman who stands my ground on the things that I believe in and isn't afraid to stick up for what I believe to be right. Some people can sit here and perhaps say that it's just because I was so young that I was shy, and as I grew up, I just found more of who I was and was able to be more confident, but I truly owe everything to pageantry, and in specific, as I mentioned, the Miss American Co-Ed organization, because I did grow up with that particular system. But even when I branched out and tried other systems and did other things, I truly do believe that pageantry as a whole has just allowed me to come into my own. It has allowed me to speak more eloquently. It has allowed me to go into job interviews and college interviews more confident and more prepared so that I am able to speak about the things that I want to let the interviewer know about me, to make eye contact, to smile, to be outgoing and personable, to connect to other people, and just to really be my own person. So throughout all of those things, I still always continue to go back to being myself, because throughout pageantry, I truly have been able to realize that being myself is the most important and best attribute that I can give to the world around me. Because truly, if I'm trying to be something I'm not, I'm never going to be genuinely happy. And loving yourself is no easy journey. It's no easy task. And I think we can kind of all go through ups and downs on that journey. So it's really important to just remember to continue to love yourself in the season that you're in today. And I know that that's so much easier said than done. And of course, I still go through moments where I doubt myself as well. But I truly believe in the depths of my heart that if it wasn't for pageantry, I wouldn't be nearly as confident as I am today. I wouldn't be nearly as outgoing and personable as I am today. And I truly do owe everything to who I am to pageants. So yes, I do believe that the image that pageants can get through media can sometimes be misconstrued as to what pageants as a whole truly are. And there's different types of pageants as well. I mean, there's glitz pageants and natural pageants. So glitz pageants do come down more to just being the most put together girl. And I have actually never done glitz pageants. I've always done natural pageants, but I think glitz pageants are fun. It's really fun and exciting, glitz pageants. But for me, like I said, I've always done natural pageants. And for me, they have truly shaped me and transformed me into the young lady that I am today and into the woman that I know I am going to continue to grow into. So I just encourage you that if you don't know much about pageants and the only image that you have of pageantry is what you may see passed around in the media, I really do encourage you to just do some research into different pageants and look at young ladies that continue to compete because of the life skills and values that they learn. It's not always just about having the prettiest gown and wearing the most makeup and having the biggest hair. Yes, of course, all of that stuff is fun, and that's why I mentioned glitz pageantry, because that's what that is all about. And of course, that is so much fun, and that can be an aspect of natural pageantry as well, because of course we do, you know, wear hair and makeup and all of that, but it really does come down to learning life skills and lessons that carry with us throughout a lifetime. And it also boils down to the friendships and memories that we continue to make year after year. I have pageant friends that I have literally met over 15 years ago that I am still friends with to this day, and that is no joke, and I still keep in touch with them. I just saw one of them literally yesterday, and they are just amazing. And I truly believe that pageantry is all about sisterhood and friendship and family, and that's why I continue to compete. And like I said, that's why I especially continue to return to the Miss American Co-ed organization, because it is the system that I just really did grow up with. And so I owe so much to that pageant system. And I truly believe I wouldn't be the person I am today without it, or without pageantry in general. So that is it, guys. I really hope that maybe I broadened your opinion on what pageantry is throughout this video. I hope now that maybe you can see there are different facets to pageantry, and it's not just one image. It's not just about being the most made up or in the most sparkly dress. Like I said, that's fun, but it's not all what pageantry is about. So I owe so much to the pageants that I have done throughout my entire life, and I have learned so much from them, and I have gained so much insight into my life, and I have gained just so much more than just crowns and sashes. I have gained friendships, I've gained life lessons, and I've gained memories, which is amazing. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Maybe now you have a different opinion on pageants if you may not have agreed with them in the first place, or maybe didn't understand them to begin with. So I really hope that maybe I opened your eyes to different possibilities of pageantry, and I really hope that you enjoyed hearing my story and my own personal opinion. As I mentioned, I am currently Miss Northeast Co-ed for the Miss American Co-ed organization, and I will be traveling very shortly to go compete for the national title. So if you guys would like to see more pageant related videos or some pageant prep as I do prepare for nationals, because I am right in that final month of preparation, so there's going to be a lot of fun things happening very soon to get me ready for nationals. I would love to make those videos for you guys, so please just be sure to let me know and I will have them right out for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel on the way out. It helps me out a bunch and it's free. So thank you so much for doing that for me, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye!